Hello, my friends. Sorry I messed up here. It's heck to get old, get sidetracked. Give me 1 second here. Oh my gosh. I'm losing it. I swear I am. I'm getting worse every day. I got too many irons in the fire is what the problem is. Uh, forgive me. I'm just getting old and ugly and stupid. Well, we've got a good lesson planned for you this evening, but I also wanted to kind of leave it open in case I'm getting too far ahead of everybody. In case you don't feel like you're ready for this, maybe we could talk about other things. We could recap some of the stuff we've already learned, if that's your preference. But I thought I'd go ahead and start off with just a song that does have a minor in it. And I'm trying to remember if it has a 2-chord in it also. It may have a 2-chord also. But of course, it's going to have your 1, 4, 5, which in this case, we're going to play in G. And so you know where your 1 is already. It's G. And your 4 is going to be your C. Your 5 will be your D. And your minor is going to be a 6 minor, which will be an E minor. So that's just 2 notes higher, or 2 frets higher than your D. So right there's your E, and then you just bring that finger back for your minor. That first finger, just bring it back like that. That'll be your minor. I don't know if there's a 2-chord in it or not. If there is, of course, the 2-chord would be an A. But I can't remember. You'd think I'd know. I do this song all the time. The song is called I'd Rather Live by the Side of the Road. I'm going to shorten up my strap here where you can see my hands. We're going to play it in G. So here we go. I'm going to do it nice and slow. There are people who would rather live in mansions, people who would rather live alone, people who would trade God's promise for the glories to hold. There are people who would rather live in splendor and brag about their silver and their gold. But I'd rather have a little log cabin by the side of the road. Here we go. I'd rather live by the side of the road and try to point souls to your blessed abode than to be a king or a millionaire, 2-chord, and live in a mansion in bright array. I'd rather do a neighborly deed for a traveler here or a friend in need. I'd rather live, here comes the 6 minor, by the side of the road and help some pilgrim along life's way. I'm playing at about, I don't know, 2/3 the speed that I would normally play it. So again, it did have a 2-chord in it. And of course, every time you go to a 2-chord, you pretty much are going to go to your 5-chord next, which is your D. So we got your G is 1, C is 4, D is 5. We go back to that G, and then we go up here to that 2-chord, which is A. And then you go to your D all the time. And then we go all the way from the G, I think it was, all the way up to the 6 minor, which is your E minor. So those are the chords that are in that song. Let's do it one more time. There are people who would rather live in mansions, people who would rather live alone, people who would trade God's promise for the glories to hold. There are people who would rather live in splendor and brag about their silver and their gold. But I'd rather have a little log cabin by the side of the road. I'd rather live by the side of the road and try to point souls to their blessed abode than to be a king or a millionaire and live in a mansion in bright array. I'd rather live neighborly deed for a traveler here or a friend in need. I'd rather live by the side of the road and help some pilgrim along life's way. And help some pilgrim along life's way. I didn't do the second verse, just doing that first verse, trying to show you where the E minor comes in there. Let's go, let's try another song. This one's might be a little easier. I'm not really sure. This one's going to have another 6 minor. So basically you're talking the same chords again. We're going to be in G. So G's your 1, your 4, and your 5. Those are going to be your main chords in this song. But you will have a 6 minor on occasion here. I don't think there's any 2s in this one. This one's called Sitting on Top of the World. Now this is a relatively fast song, so I'm going to do it about medium speed here. It was in the spring, one sunny day, my good gal left me, she went away. Now she's gone, here comes, and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, show me a woman that a man can trust. Now she's gone and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. You don't like my peaches, don't shake my tree. Stay out of my orchard, let my peaches be. Now she's gone and I don't worry, I'm sitting on top of the world. Now she's gone and I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. So that was just 1-4-5 with your 6 minor. Let's see. Let's do an old Dean Martin song here, Small Exception of Me. Now this one has a 2 minor in it instead of a 6 minor. So the 2 minor would be your A, and then you just minor it by just bringing that finger back. And I know some of you are finding that difficult to do because just stretching your fingers out to get these chords is difficult. I get it. But it's all in the angle. You know, if you try to do it like this, you can't do it. Nobody can do that. You got to get the angle. Your fingers are just almost in a line like this, you know. That's the way you do it. And so you just back that finger up. You're not spreading them out. You notice they're not getting any further apart. It's just back in terms of spreading them this way. I'm not doing that. I'm just going back like that. All right, so this one is, let's see here. I said it was a Dean Martin song, Small Exception of Me. So we're in G again, so 1-4-5 again. Everybody knows you're leaving me for good. That's your 5. Everybody tells me now they knew you would. It was a well-known secret I just couldn't see to minor. But the whole world knew. It went to 5. The small exception of me. Now I'm going to tell you something else about that song too. See, what I did there was I walked down from the 5 down to the 4 in that one spot. I went. You don't have to do that. You could just go from the 5 down to the 4 when it's appropriate. You could leave out that middle note, that middle step. I just do that because I think it sounds better. So that's how I do it. Here we go again. Everybody knows you're leaving me for good. Everybody tells me now they knew you would. It was a well-known secret I just couldn't see. And the whole world knew, with a small exception of me. Everybody knows we cried our final tear. Everybody knows we wasted all these years. Long ago they said I'd have to set you free. And the whole world knew, with the small exception of me. With the small exception of me, the world is wise. Here we go to the 2. The small exception of me, there's no surprise. Ain't it funny how that I could be so blind? Funny when it's out of sight, it's out of mind. But now the whole world is too plain to see that the whole world knew, with the small exception of me. Yes, the whole world knew, with the small exception of me. Oh my gosh, that song's hard to do that slow, especially without any accompaniment. And the fact that I start reading what's on the screen here in the middle of it, and then I forget the words. And I got 25 more excuses if you want to hear them. Anyway, but that's a real slow song. But that's that 2 minor is real pretty sound, you know, in the song there. It softens it up, but you still go, after that 2, you still go up to your 5, see? That's just kind of the way music works. It always kind of does that. Doesn't matter what kind of music you're playing. When you go to a 2, you generally go to a 5. It's just kind of one of those unwritten rules until I wrote it. And that's a rule. Some of these songs that I have on here are actually pretty hard, so I'm trying to find the ones that are not too terribly hard here to go over first. Let's see. I don't know if I can get through this one. I don't do this very often, but I do it once in a blue moon. This one is 1-4-5 again out of G. And it'll have an E minor, which will be your 6 minor again. Sadie's got her new dress on in G. Sadie's mama told her, you're nearly 21. It's time to find a man and settle down. Well, she prettied up her auburn hair, put on her best perfume, headed for that dance downtown. Sadie's got her new dress on, Lord, Lord. Sadie's got her new dress on. Her mama's done and said she's old enough to wed. Sadie's got her new dress on. Hey, look yonder comin', Charlie Taylor said, I never seen a girl with eyes that green. Sadie Rose just looked at him and pat him on the head, danced a jig with Willie Dean. Sadie's got her new dress on, Lord, Lord. Sadie's got her new dress on. Her mama's done and said she's old enough to wed. Sadie's got her new dress on. I can't think of the last verse. But anyway, that one there's a little tricky in that it kind of catches you by surprise. It jumps down to that minor, But they're all the same. They're just different. 1-4-5 with that 6 minor. It's real common when a minor is in a song. It's real common that it's a 6 minor. Like I said, when you can tell that when you're hearing a minor, often the first place to check is your 6 minor. If it's not a 6 minor, then the second most common is a 2 minor. And if it's not a 2 minor, then the third most common is generally a 3 minor. And after that, if you still haven't found it, well, then you're just guessing, and you just got to check them all. Because a 4 minor there's a 4 minor on occasion. I see those every once in a while, but they're pretty rare. 5 minor, I can't think of one. They're out. I'm sure they're out there, but I can't think of one. So, it kind of goes in that order like that. So it's 6, 2, 3, and then 4 is the way I would look for your minors. 7 minor, I'm trying to think if I've even heard of one of them. I can't think of one. So a 5 minor and a 7 minor, they're probably out there. I just can't think of one. So they're not very common, I guess I'm just trying to point out, these are things. While they're not exactly rules, they're kind of like rules in the sense that this is the way it happens. It's the real way it works, So it's kind of a rule, if you will. All right, let's see. I don't know I think I'll just try to stay in G right now, even though I normally do this all the way up in B, so I don't know if I can sing it this low or not. There's one called The Photograph. Now this one has a 2 minor, which will be your A minor, and it'll have a 6 minor also, I think, which will be your E minor, of course. But I think the E minor only comes in on the chorus part, and it only comes in one spot. The 2 minor comes in pretty much all the way through the song, I think as the second chord, if I remember right. So the 2 minor will come in quite often. This is really slow. I got to hand it to you. You've got a great attitude. There's your 2 minor. You keep that gleam in your eye. 5, just better than I. When the chips are down. It always shows on your face. Comes the 2 minor again. That look just gives it away. Real pretty sound. Yes, that's the beauty of you. Your love shining through on the darkest day. Here comes the chorus. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever, anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. I just look at you there. Oh, and sometimes I swear I hear you say everything is okay. It'll be all right. Wish I had your point of view. 2 minor. See things the way that you do. 'Cause it ain't all black and white. Just living my life and missing you. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. No, you don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. If I hadn't made the mistake, it would have been perfect. Do that recap again. You don't ever stop smiling. You don't ever look like anything's gone wrong. You're there on my wall to remind me of all the love we had. That's what I do better than anything, is I screw up. I screw up better than anything else I do. Let's see, do I have any other ones in G? I think that's it. That's all I've got in G. Let's go to D. Now, remember, the pattern is reversed in D. So when you do a minor song in D, it's going to be in a different location compared to where it was, like when you're here, you're jumping all the way up here. But when you're in the D, which is your middle strings here, your 6 minor is down here to the lower right, if you will. It's going to have the same relative sound in the song, but it's just in a different place. So this is why I'm saying there's only 2 patterns. 2 chord patterns. Once you learn these 2 patterns, you've got it all down. And I mean that sincerely. Once you got those 2 patterns, you literally should be able to play any song on the planet. So in this case, it's going to be 1, 4, 5. So remember, it's reversed. It's in reverse order. 1, 4, 5, and then of course 2 frets higher than 5 is your 6 minor. 6 and 6 minor. Let's see here. Now the trick of this one actually is it goes from the 6 minor down to the 4, I believe it is. So it's going to jump from there down to here. This is a song I wrote called Dirt Farmer. I'm an old dirt farmer. This is in waltz time. Scrape a living from the soil. Like my father before me, I labor and toil. But my father said, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying. Son, please don't stay. So are you getting that? So we're in your 1. We got your 1, your 4, and your 5, and we have your 6 minor, which is down here. That's your B minor in this case. So let's do that again. I'm an old dirt farmer. Scrape a living from the soil. Like my father before me, I labor and toil. But my father said, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying. Son, please don't stay. So I moved to the city, and I tried to fit in. But I thought of my father, how the crops would get in. I could hear him say, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying. Son, please don't stay. I returned for a visit, but I was too late. My father lay dying, and I knew it was fate. But he turned and said, son, you should move away. I just couldn't leave him, and he knew I would stay. Now I'm an old dirt farmer, scrape a living from the soil. Like my father before me, I labor and toil. See, even songs that appear to be complicated, when you break them down by number, they're not that hard. 1, 4, 5. That's all it is. 1, 4, 5 with a little 6 minor thrown in there. Just 1, 4, 5. Just the trick of it is there's a 19 bazillion ways you can rearrange that 1, 4, 5 to make a song. That's why even though it's only 3 chords that make those most of your songs, they all sound different, or at least most of them sound somewhat different, because you put them together with different timings, different beats. You hold them longer here and hold them longer there, you know that. So there's a gazillion different combinations. But they're still just, for the most part, 1, 4, 5 with a few extra once in a while chords thrown in, if you will. It's really, that's how simple you need to start thinking about it. It's just 1, 4, 5 for the most part with a couple extra chords once in a while. That's pretty much the way it works. Joe Nigan, you play very well. Well, thank you. Lost me at Dirt Farmer. Okay. Well, I'm not sure why. Well, I know why. It's the D. Everybody gets confused when you go to the D shape. When you go to the D, everything's reversed. The G seems easy to everybody because that's the first thing you learn. But the D is no harder than the G. It just really isn't. It's just a different pattern in a different order. So you got your 1, 4, 5. That's it. It's the same exact thing. You can play any song. You can play any 1, 4, 5 song that you can play here, here, and here. You can play it here, here, and here. And it'll sound exactly the same. Let me just demonstrate that one time just to prove it. So we'll go to G first. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. 1, 4, 5, okay? Now we'll do it out of D. I just got to sing it different. There's a well-beaten path on this old mountainside where I wandered when I was a lad. And I wandered alone to the place I call home in those Blue Ridge hills far away. But lots and lots and lots of people find the D chord pattern much harder than the G chord pattern, and really it shouldn't be any harder. It's the same thing. It's just learning it in a different order. And then, of course, your minor is down here. Instead of, like from here to here, which is quite a bit further jump, your minor is actually much closer. It's just right there. Okay? Let's do it one more time since that one was tricky. I'm an old dirt farmer, and it's got a different beat too. Scrape a living from the soil. So what that did was, by the way, is 1, it's going down to the 5 and coming back to the 1. I'm an old dirt farmer, scrape a living from the soil. Now we're going to 6 minor. Father before me, back to 4, back to 1. Da 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 da, 6 minor, 4, 1. Now we're going to 5. Da da da, 5, 4, 1. Da 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 da, 1, 1, 5, 1. Da da da, 6 minor, 4, 1, 1, 6 minor, 4, 1, 1, 5, 4, 1. Really that easy. Easy for me to say. Music is hard. I get it. But the concepts is what I'm trying to preach. And the concepts are fairly simple. There's not that many of them. You just learn those few concepts and then you start applying it to different songs. There's not that many to learn. I think I've got 11 different rules written down on my rules that I shared with you. And once you learn those rules and really learn them by heart, it's not much more to it than that, really. I mean, there's always something, but you know what I'm saying. It's not that much because those rules cover 90% of everything that you're going to run into. Okay, let's see. Read a couple more comments here. Kim Williford, I just love your playing, Jerry, whether playing guitar and mandolin. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. And she's got another note here. David and Jerry, I hit the like button and the save button. Jerry, love the song, The Picture. Yeah, it's actually called The Photograph. Yeah, but it's a cool song. That is really a well-written, neat song. I wish I had written that one. That's just a beautiful song. It really is. Kim says, can you do harmonics on a mandolin? Well, yeah. At the 12th fret, I can do it real easy. You should be able to do it at every dotted fret. And you kind of can. I'm just not very good at it. It's really, if you know how to do it, you can do it at every dotted fret. But I'm not very good at it. I can do it at the 12th fret pretty easy. So, yeah. Let's see. What else did you have there? Yeah. Yeah, just barely touching it. That's what you're doing. You're doing the same exact thing. What I do is I touch it and I remove it as I hit it, kind of. That's how I do it. Maybe that's why I can't do it at the other ones. Maybe I'm not doing it right. But anyway, yeah, that's how you would do it. Let's try another one here. This was a real popular song. Guarantee you this one's going to get me a strike. Even though I paid to use this song. I literally did pay money to use this song on my album when I sent it out on Prime Cuts of Bluegrass. I registered it and paid to use it. So, YouTube, you should know that before you strike me on this one. Okay, what am I doing? I'm in D minor. So now this is the first song we've played in a minor. That's different than having a minor in the song. This song is in a minor, and it's in D minor. So D minor is your 1, if you will, in this case. Now this one's a little trickier. This one's a little harder. It's not. It shouldn't be. It just is because it is, and you're learning and all that. But it really isn't any harder. It's because one thing about it is that it does the same thing throughout the whole song. It never changes. In other words, if you finally get the chord pattern, it never changes. It just same thing over and 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 over, all the way through the whole song. So and the chord pattern is like this: D minor, F, C, G, D minor, F, C, G. So that's D minor, 4. Let me think about this. I hadn't really thought about this before. So that would be a 7. That C is a 7. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little trickier, isn't it? So let me think. What would that F be? I don't even know. I haven't even thought of what the numbers are on this one. I never did bother to mess with it. I just remember the chord pattern, on this one. Now, actually, to be truthful, most people play it up in E minor. I just can't sing it that high. So I dropped it down to D minor, and we recorded it on Prime Cuts of Bluegrass in D minor. And I don't even know. This is it's a weird number system song, actually. So let's see, it would be, the 2 would be, let's see, a D minor, so the 2 would be the E. So that would be a 3. The F is the 3 in this case, I believe. Well, anyway, or a 3 flat. I'm not really sure about that. But anyway, it's in the 3 ballpark. So it's D minor, F, C, G. And it just does that over and over and over and over. Ever since the days of old, man has searched for wealth untold. They dig for silver, pan for gold, and leave the empty hole. Way down south in the Everglades, where the black waters roll and the sawgrass sways, the eagles fly and the otters play in the land of the Seminole. So blow, blow, Seminole wind, blow like you're never gonna blow again. I'm calling to you like a long-lost friend, but I know who you are. And blow, blow from the Okeechobee all the way out to Micanopy, across the home of the Seminole, the alligator and the gar. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that as a song that's played in A minor. And, you know, they just have an eerier sound, you know, versus a song that's played in a major chord that has a minor in it, if you will. So I wanted to point that out, and maybe that wasn't the best example. I don't do very many singing songs that are in minors. I play a lot of instrumentals that are in minors, but I don't sing very many that are actually in minors. I do a few of them, but they get pretty darn complicated. That one there is relatively straightforward once you get the pattern down. It's just getting that pattern. D minor, F, C, G. Just over and over. Okay, let's see. Let's go to D again. Now this one's got a minor in it. This one's very much like Dirt Farmer. It has a different melody to it, but the chord progressions and pattern are very similar to Dirt Farmer. So your 6 minor is going to be down here again. This is called Good Woman's Love, A Good Woman's Love. So it's got your 1, your 4, and your 5, and it'll have your 6 minor. And I think that's all that's in it. Let me think. Make sure I'm singing the right song. I was a roamer on land and on sea, till a good woman's love made a new man out of me. Life had no meaning, it was all incomplete, till a good woman's love put me back on my feet. Instead of roaming, I go home in the evening and she's waiting there. And I know that no matter what happens, she'll always care. And when the night falls and the moon shines above, I'm a man with a dream and a good woman's love. Okay, so again, it's 1, 4, 5 with a 6 minor, and it does that. It jumps down to the 5, back to the 6 minor in that one spot. It doesn't do it the first time, but it does it the second time through when you're on the chorus. So let's try that one more time. And again, it's a waltz time also. I was a roamer on land and on sea, till a good woman's love made a new man out of me. Life had no meaning, it was all incomplete, till a good woman's love put me back on my feet. Going to the fourth. So roaming, I go home in the evening and she's waiting there. And I know that no matter what happens, she'll always care. And when the night falls and the moon shines above, I'm a man with a dream and a good woman's love. There you go. It's simple, but it's complicated. Now you know why I made that shirt up. David's getting all complicated on us there too, and saying D minor is the relative minor for F. The notes of the F major scale. See, that's all complicated stuff. I don't need to know none of that. I've been fat, dumb, and happy for 40-some years, David, and you're not going to change it. I'm going to stay fat, dumb, and happy. Especially fat. Well, probably dumb too. But anyway, Kim Williford says the 6 minor sounds like a B minor. Yes, it is a B minor. Yeah. When you're in your D, your 6 minor is your B minor. And again, you can just count them and find them. If you get lost, if you just remember where 1 is, and then you remember where your 4 and your 5 are, then you can just count them and find the rest of them. So there's 1, 4. If you needed a 3, it would be 1 down from there. If you needed a, that's why when I said the 3 on that other song, it was really a 3 flat is really what it was. So anyway, but so you're at 1, 4, 5. Now where's the 6? Well, it's you go 1 there and then here. So there's your 6, and then you make it a minor. So that's a B minor is what it is. But if you can start thinking in numbers and for just more or less forget about the letters, the music, you'll start to see these patterns. And when you start to see the patterns is when it really pays off. That's when it really pays off. So that's why I'm really, really encouraging everybody to try to think of it as numbers. Just, you have to know where the letters are. Sure, I get that. You got to know where the letters are. But all you really care about, the only letter you really care about is 1. You want to know where 1 is. You know, you got to know the letter to start on. Somebody says it's in A. Well, A is 1. So there's you go. And so now I don't care what the rest of them are. The rest of them are in a pattern. And you just know where your 4 is and you know where your 5 is because they're in the same place every time. They're you move in the same relative position every single time for every one of your chords. Every one of your numbers is always in the same relative place from your 1. That's how you do it. If you want to make it simple, that's the way you make it simple. Because then you don't have to think. You know where it is. I hope that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense, then this whole thing I'm saying just isn't going to work for you. But anyway, that's how it works. Let's see. I think I've covered everybody's questions so far. David Tharp says, I just tuned the banjo to a D minor. Well, you're just better at it than I am. I wouldn't have a clue how to do that. And that's the truth. I'm not being, I am being stupid. But I mean, I'm not being silly. I truly don't know how to do any of that. I don't know anything about formal music. I don't. Like when people say that note is the 6th whatever out of this key. I don't care about that. I don't know. It's not that I don't care about it. It's that I don't know about it. I don't know any of that stuff. All I know is the way to play music the simple way. And that's, if it wasn't simple, I guarantee I couldn't do it. And that's just the bottom line truth of it. Let's see. We're about out of time here. David says a banjo is a different animal. Yeah, I'm not even sure I'd classify it as an animal. It's a 5-string galvanized mechanical gadget is what a banjo is. Takes every tool Sears ever made to keep one of them in tune. I think I've covered every song I was going to cover tonight. That's amazing. Now, I mean, we could always go to really, really complicated songs if you want to, like Redwood Hill. That is really a complicated song. One of these days, I'm going to show you that song, though. I climbed Redwood Hill. It was on a rainy day to rise above the throng and to talk to Mother Nature for a while. She told me of her love from the chill. I think I lost my train of thought. But anyway, it's got 1/4. It's got your 1/4. Well, actually, it doesn't have. Yeah, it does have 4 in it. It's 1/4/5, but it has your 2 in it. It has your 2 minor in it. Has your 6 minor. I don't think it has a regular 6. I know it has a 6 minor, and it has your 3, which is your B. And you can get your B there, or you can get it up here. But I just get it down here since I'm already down here at that minor. So that's all it is. It's just got lots of chords in it. I climbed the Redwood Hill. It was on a rainy day to rise above the throng and to talk to Mother Nature for a while. She told me of her love for the children in her trust, and of a great concern for the likes of you and me and us. Now, I just want to point out that this song, as complicated as it is, it doesn't violate, well, maybe one place it kind of violates my rules. You know, I tell you my rules aren't 100%. They're just like 90-some%, really. And really, this song, all the way through, follows the rules except in one place, and I'll show you where that is in a minute. But like when we go up here to that 6 minor, then we go to that 3. One of the rules is after you go to a 3, you always go to a 4. And it jumps back up here to that C, which is your 4. We could have just went from 3 to 4 here, but I was down here on the 3, so I just went back up here to my 4. I could have gone to it here, but it just doesn't sound as good in that high spot. I like that lower sound better on that 4. And let's see, when it does go to a 2, it goes up to your 5. Now that's the one thing it violates. In one place, it goes to a 2, and then I think it goes back to a 4 in one place. So in one place, this song does violate my rules. But, you know, like I said, there's always somebody trying to write a song that violates all the rules. That's pretty much the way it is. That's what you're trying to do as a songwriter. You're trying to write something that nobody else has ever written before, you know. So let's try that again. And some of you maybe are following this. I hope so. Again, I'm going to sing the numbers this time, okay? 1, 5, 6 minor, 2, 3, now a 4, 1, 2, 5, 1, 5, 6 minor, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5, 1. So that part of it's all the same. Now, when you go into the chorus is where it violates one of the rules. But there, it doesn't violate any rules. But there, you can see there's just lots of chords in that song, you know, and it moves around a lot, and it moves around pretty fast. But it's still, if you just if you can think in numbers and get your numbers down, it doesn't matter how complicated the song is. You'll be able to get yourself through it as long as you know what the numbers are. Do it one more time, then I'm going to call it an evening here, I think. I climbed the redwood hill. It was on a rainy day to rise above the throng and to talk to Mother Nature for a while. She told me of her love for the children in her trust, and of a great concern for the likes of you and me and us. Here's where it goes into the chorus. Crying though she was, she did speak these tender words. The thing that I am. Oh, the am, that's the 2 minor. I could not change for any man. I tried to comfort her, but she would not be still, and her great concern. I don't remember. Da 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 da. Trying to explain it and stuff, I lose track. I lost the words on it. But anyway, songs like that really are not that tough to do once you learn the number system. And it just, it's probably above most of your pay grades right now. But if you keep practicing and you keep really learning those 2 different patterns and learn them by the number, then, like doing simple songs, just like that Blue Ridge Cabin Home. That's a nice simple song. Do it in the one pattern, then do it in the other pattern, and get it down where you really understand the 2 different patterns. And you'll see it's the very same sound of the song. It's just in 2 different patterns on your mandolin. Now on a guitar, that's a different thing. You won't hardly see those patterns on a guitar. It's just different because every chord shape is different. But on your mandolin, you'll start to, especially when you're thinking in numbers, you'll actually see the patterns really clearly. In the next lesson, I think what we'll work on, assuming that everybody feels like we're ready to progress a little further, I think in the next lesson, we'll work on what we call the circle of fifths. Now, I got to tell you, you need to bring your A game on that one, because the circle of fifths, while it's not very difficult in one regard because it's the same. It's kind of like that seminole wind. Once you get the pattern down, it's a piece of cake. It's just you got to get that pattern down. That song pattern in that case is a seminole wind. Well, a circle of fifths is a 1-6-2-5-1, 1-6-2-5-1, and it comes in lots of songs. Lots of songs have a 1-6-2-5-1. But it's a complicated, jumping around, quick kind of pattern. And so once you get that down, then, I'm trying to give you an example of where this comes into play. Like when you're in a public jam and somebody hits that circle of fifths at 1-6-2-5-1, well, then generally the comment you always hear from somebody is, where did that go? What was that chord? What did they do there? Because it always loses everybody. But it's just a 1-6-2-5-1. And it's just a real common pattern. It's just a chord pattern that comes in lots of songs. It generally comes toward the end of the song, and sometimes like in the choruses and things like that. So we'll work on that maybe in the next lesson. But I'm hoping you got something out of this tonight. Let me double check, make sure that I haven't missed anybody's questions or anything. Kim says, I just wanted to make sure I was correct about what the chord was in the number system. You are correct, Kim. Yeah, it was definitely a B minor. So you're on top of it. David Tharp, you tuned the banjo to an open 1 chord, you tune it to a G, open G. I do know that. I know how to tune a banjo just because I know how to tune a banjo, but that don't mean I know how to tune it in a the key of a D or the key of an E. You know, like people know how to do that on guitars and tune them in alternate tunings. I don't know any of that. Not without looking it up. I mean, I could Google it and find out how to do it. I mean, I'm not completely stupid. It's just that I'm ignorant of how to do those things like that. I've never needed to, and I just don't bother. That's really the bottom line. That's just the bottom truth of it. I guess I'm just lazy. I don't really have a need to expand my horizons. Anyway, guys, I hope you got something out of tonight with the minors. I hope it maybe if it was foggy before, hopefully it's a little less foggy now, and it show you that it really isn't anything to be afraid of. Minors are really not much more difficult than the rest of them. The most difficult part is just literally moving that finger back, you know. But as far as a chord goes, it's really just another chord. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for being here this evening. If you wanted to drop a nickel in the guitar case, I would appreciate it. And you know how to do that with either a PayPal, or you can do it on a super chat, and you can do it later after this video just posts as a video. So either way, thank you very much for being here. We will see you tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock on the vlog, or next Thursday for another lesson, or if we're not playing live next Thursday. I can't remember where the calendar is right now. But anyway, you know what